Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back for part two of the secrets of getting rich. Part one was a review of Grant Cardone's, and part two is going to be the lumberjack and I talking about it. Before we do that, though, Matt, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Mike. Great to be here. Excited to go through this list because I think it'll make a lot of difference for a lot of people.
I hope it does. So we're each going to give 3. So Grant gave you 5. You're going to get 6 from us because we're just that good. And it's an even number. So Matt, you won the coin toss, so we're going to let you go first.
My number one would be invest in yourself.
Tell us more.
Biggest secret to gaining wealth is investing in yourself. And that is, if you understand how you think you want to get wealthy, well, the first thing that you have to do is become an expert at it. Right. And so neither of us started off our game with being experts in real estate investing, right? Made plenty of mistakes.
30 years old. I knew nothing, right? I thought the only thing I could buy was a house. I didn't know I could buy apartments or offices or freaking condos or these things. Nobody in my family ever had a rental. We didn't even talk about money, let alone freaking rental properties. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's investing in yourself. And so that's something that if I had to point to something I did personally, I was always investing in myself, learning new things, trying to understand, pursuit of knowledge, but knowledge that was valuable, knowledge that was applicable, knowledge that was demonstrable. You know, I think there's far too many people that want to talk concept and theory. And you need to be, no, it's the work, it's doing the work, it's getting in there, but invest in yourself. You know, I obviously did that and it's worked out fairly well. But the other thing too is that it's made me an expert in 3 or 4 fields, but it's because I did the work. You know, I can argue with an appraiser because I've done the work.
Right.
I can, and that's the thing is, I think people have to, I think the most important thing is invest in yourself. And that is, you have to gain knowledge in anything that you want to get good at.
Yeah. So the first one for me is something I had to do when I was 30 years old, is I had to take an inventory of where we were.
Okay.
So I had to take inventory not only of money, I had to take inventory of skill set. I had to take inventory of what I knew and didn't know. One of the things is, if you're in a hole, stop digging, right? For me, I just not enough people stop. Because we all live crazy lives. It's always hectic. We're always stressed out. For me, it took getting quiet, kind of removing myself from the nuttiness of life and really going, okay, where are we? Right. That's why the course I have, getting your money right, is so valuable, right? It's 99 bucks. It's nothing. But what I share in there is what I did, right? We stepped back. We had a review of what we were spending, right? We did an exercise. You and I did it 6 months ago, called choices, right? We did things like that. We took our budget. We talk about needs and wants. We try to figure out our discretionary dollars, convert to time, because we had a daughter, and, if you have $1,000 item and you only have $5 of discretionary money, it takes, 200 hours it's just all the things in there we did. So for me, you have to understand where you are, and still in that step one, you had to have a North Star, right? And for me, I was able, and actually highlighted in my book is one of my mistakes, I was able just to keep my head down and keep going. I realize that not most people can do that. So I tell people to celebrate the wins, take pictures, lots of mistakes I've had, because the journey's hard. And I am very lucky that my superpower is the ability to just think the next day is going to be better than the last day. So I just kept going. But yeah, for me, number one is understand where you are, and then what's the target. So that's my number one.
Like it. Great advice.
All right. What do you got for number 2?
Number 2, I love to say it. Time in the market is better than timing the market.
Yeah.
People that by the time you've figured out exactly what the right timing in the market is, it will have passed you. Because you'll be like, last year really would have been a good time to buy some real estate. It really would have worked out quite well for me in the next 18 months. I would have made, or would have seen a 30% increase. And so if I wanted to make that a capital event, I could. But yeah, I think time in the market is better than timing the market. And so the goal there is, after you've invested in yourself, after you know what as your book calls it, the buy box, after you know what that is, after you know what your buy box is in your market, after you see what good return is, average return, and then good, and then great, that's what you need to be knowing, dialing in, completely understanding, because timing the market, well, prices seem kind of high based on what? You're like 5 minutes old.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
And historically, what other things are going on? Hey, Mike, one of the things that Reventure never does is he never talks about the fact that there's 40% more cash in the market than there's ever been.
Yeah.
So what does that do to everything? It means everything else goes up and gets more expensive. So time in the market is more important than timing the market. And so people have to have done the work, do the research, invested in themselves, understand what that is, so they can then make that step, get into the market, and not do like you said, which is, hey, if you'd house hacked, you probably would have started doing houses probably 4 or 5 years earlier.
Yeah, easy.
And then imagine how much more money you'd have now.
Oh, crazy.
Or how many more properties.
Number 2, very similar. I call it recycling capital, right?
Yep, sure.
So that, you really brought this home for me when you put out that video. I think I call it the most important video I've ever done, which is amazing after doing 4,000 videos.
Agree. I'm honored.
Because it really just shows you how, again, back to kind of that Reventure video from the first one, getting on the property ladder is so hard. Getting your first rental is hard.
Yeah.
But I'll just talk about my story, right? That first Norris Drive property, $20,000. I was able to use that $20,000 over and over and over again. And today that 20 grand is 20 some odd units, 100 grand in cash in the bank, and $500,000 in equity, because of that one deal, right? The power of recycling capital is important. That obviously means you got to have time in the market, cash out refi, 1031 exchanges, all of these different rent to inflation, right? The rent that $20,000 does, it produces $4 grand in cash flow today. Think about that. 4 times 12 is 48. $20,000 produces $48,000 in cash flow today. And oh, by the way, if you want to do the math on depreciation, it produces about $36,000 in depreciation, which if you are in real estate, you know what that means. So again, for me, the real power, the real turbocharge that I never really talked about was the ability to recycle capital over and over. And the only reason I could do that is because I look at the market all the time. I did the work. I knew what was expensive. Right. I knew what was cheap. I knew what I could take out after my first mistake, because I created my own alligator the first time. But damn, you really want to get going on this? Work hard, be in the time in the market, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You'll get to start recycling those first ones, and then life gets good.
Yes.
Awesome, man. So what do you got for number 3?
Yeah. I mean, look at the stuff that we have that's vintage in our portfolio. It's 10 years old.
I did. After you did that video? Now? Yeah. Yeah. Believe me, it's a good thing.
I'm working on spreadsheet number 2 and number 3. And I'm like, these numbers I think are wrong.
They're just too big.
They're ridiculous. Yeah. Number 3 for me is basically, where number 1 and number 2 get you, which is make money in your sleep.
Oh yeah.
I want to make money while I sleep. My sleeping hours are precious and expensive, but yeah, I want to make money when I sleep. And the only way that I can do that is if I own assets that create cash flow for me, because you will never work. You'll never be able to work as many hours or as long as you need to make the money that you can make while you're sleeping, which is the easiest money that you'll make. Yeah. You'll never get there.
Yeah. For me, number 3 is the daily discipline, right? I talk about focus, buy box, looking at your market. I think a lot of this gets easier if it becomes a habit. And the only way for it to become a habit is to do the daily discipline. You want a better financial future? Well, if you're going to do it with real estate, I offer an amazing course, great book, have all the bonus sections now. All I got to tell you is you got to do the work. I don't promise easy or smooth road. You'll have bad days, but it's the best way, right? If you're not an athlete, a songwriter, an actor, employee number 1 at Facebook or whatever it is, there are other ways, but for the average person, the best way to get rich, have a better financial future, and ultimately financial freedom is to understand buy and hold landlording. It's that simple. Just do the work every day. It's 20 minutes a day, every day. Mm-hmm. And I'm 20 years in and I still do it. So that's my number 3.
Yep.
That's our list of 6, folks. You want to hit your 3? Just hit them real
Totally,
quick.
I totally agree with it, Mike. I mean, again, people take these very simple life lessons from guys that have built massive real estate empires. This will pay off for you. These are disciplines that we still do today. They helped make us successful. They were fine-tuned, but they are also what helped keep us successful.
Yeah. So hit your 3 again. What are they? Just bing, bing, bing.
So my 3, invest in yourself. Time in the market is better than timing the market, and make money while you sleep.
And my 3 are understand inventory where you are and where you want to go. Recycle capital is the turbocharger of this. And then the daily discipline. So Matt, how can people find you and be part of your world?
Lumberjacklandlord.com and Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube, Mike. Always a pleasure. And most importantly, house hacking in one rental at a time real estate course that we spoke about in this video, which is, Mike, you're at, so indulge me for just a minute.
Sure.
You're at like 60 something hours of content in there now, I think.
Yeah.
Or 55 hours or something like that. For $300. It's $6 an hour. It's less than minimum wage to buy your course per hour.
Yeah. And like, you get the Facebook group and you get the
yes.
Saturday sessions. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, amazing value. I appreciate, and that's why I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Just amazing value that will absolutely continue to lift people from where they are to the best financial position they can be in the coming decade.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. And you have an outstanding week and best of luck.
Thanks, Mike. Much appreciated.
Yep.